All right, let's dive into a pretty wild online theory that's been gaining some traction. It claims there's a secret, coordinated plan to totally remake the US economy. It's known as the Fix is In, and it connects everything from trade policy to the Supreme Court to crypto. So let's break down exactly what this narrative is all about.
This right here is the heart of the whole thing. The central idea is that nothing happening right now is an accident. It argues that all these big events we see in the news are actually just calculated chess moves and a massive strategy to fundamentally change America's financial system. It's a huge claim, so let's look at the pieces it puts together. So, what's the problem this fix is supposed to solve? Well, according to the theory, it's simple. Our money is broken. And the ultimate proof? That massive $37 trillion national debt. The narrative points to this number as evidence of a system that's just cracking under its own weight. The theory claims this isn't just some random chaos. It's a carefully planned four-step process. We're going to walk through this supposed roadmap step by step. We'll start with the economic levers, then the legal groundwork, the parallel crypto system, and finally, a complete overhaul of the Fed itself.
Okay, so first up, Pillar 1. This is all about the economic firepower. The theory alleges there's a specific person, an architect, behind a strategy to turn U.S. trade policy into a powerful economic weapon.
The theory points to one person in particular, an economist named Stephen Mirren. It claims his appointments, first to the Council of Economic Advisors and then to the Fed's Board of Governors, are absolutely not a coincidence. Instead, it's a strategic move to build a bridge, a direct line between the White House's trade plans and the Fed's control over the money. And the centerpiece of this whole economic strategy is something the narrative calls the Mar-a-Lago Accord. Think of it as a modern sequel to the 1985 Plaza Accord, which successfully devalued the dollar way back then. The alleged goal now is pretty much the same: intentionally weaken the US dollar to make American products and manufacturing competitive on the world stage again.
And here's the crucial part. It's not just about tariffs. The theory claims it's a two-pronged attack. The tariffs, they're the stick, used to force other countries to the negotiating table. The second prong is currency intervention, basically pressuring allies to help restructure U.S. debt by trading their short-term bonds for new 100-year bonds. That move, in itself, would help devalue the dollar.
But come on, a plan this radical would face a mountain of legal challenges, right? So how could it possibly be implemented? Well, that brings us to the second pillar. The theory claims the legal groundwork is already being laid in the Supreme Court itself. The entire narrative seems to hinge on a very specific, high-stakes Supreme Court case. And the core question is this: does the president have the authority to unilaterally slap sweeping global tariffs on everyone using emergency powers? Now, what's really interesting here is the timing. The theory predicts a ruling in December 2025 that says, yes, the president has these powers. But, and this is key, it also starts a 180-day countdown clock for any legal disputes. The narrative claims this isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's a 6-month fuse, deliberately designed to run out in June of 2026. So, if you're about to press a button that could shake up the entire global economy, you'd probably need a way to manage the fallout. And that leads us to Pillar 3, a parallel digital financial system. The theory describes it as the escape hatch for all the volatility that's about to be unleashed. At the very core of this digital strategy is the alleged creation of a U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve. The theory claims it's been seeded with a huge stash of over 207,000 Bitcoin, all seized by the government over the years. Essentially, it's creating a national stockpile of digital assets. This slide shows the two key digital tools in the supposed plan. According to the theory, stablecoins, the crypto pegged to the dollar, would be used to soak up market shocks. Think of a foreign country dumping U.S. debt. Stablecoins would act as a buffer. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is being positioned as digital gold, a brand new kind of strategic reserve asset for the country's official balance sheet. And that brings us to the fourth and final pillar of this whole thing: getting control of the Federal Reserve itself. This is to make sure monetary policy is perfectly in sync with the administration's goals. Hey, remember that 180-day fuse we just talked about? Well, the theory points out that Fed Chair Jerome Powell's term expires on May 15, 2026. And where does that fall? Smack dab in the middle of that legal window. In this narrative, that timing is absolutely not a coincidence. The alleged goal here is pretty simple: Replace Powell with a new Fed chair who is on board with the Mar-a-Lago Accord. This would mean ditching the Fed's traditional independence to actively keep interest rates low, which makes government debt cheaper, and to help with that massive debt restructuring we talked about. Okay, so let's put all the pieces together. The narrative claims these four pillars don't just exist side by side. They're actually designed to all converge, to all click into place at a very specific moment in mid-2026. In this timeline, this is the grand finale of the theory. The claim is that by June 2026, all the pieces are perfectly aligned. The Supreme Court's 180-day legal window slams shut, a new compliant Fed chair is in place, and the digital safety net is ready to go. This, according to the narrative, is the exact moment the Mar-a-Lago Accord gets activated.
So, what's the endgame? What does it all lead to? According to the theory, it's a completely new economic reality. You've got a weaker, fairer dollar to supercharge American exports, the national debt is finally brought under control, and Bitcoin is officially cemented as a legitimate global reserve asset.
And let's be really clear, the source material does not present this as some simple policy change. It's framed as nothing short of a revolution, a deliberate, planned pivot away from the old financial system and a leap into a new, digitized future. And so the narrative ends by turning the question back to its audience. By laying out this supposed roadmap, it isn't just telling a story. It's challenging people to think about their own role, their own play, and what it describes as an inevitable, massive, systemic change.